Joe Perot says, when the boom happened and the vintage basketball market surged, were there any particular vintage cards that surprised even Jeff in how quickly they gained favor and increased in price? Over to you, Jeff.
Great question. I would say I was very surprised how quickly the Bird Magic went up in price compared to what it was at one point in time. Just in a PSA 9 holder, for example, that card you could get for, believe it or not, $1,500, $2,000. And at one point, I think it went up to almost $40,000. And for a card that, reasonably has a larger population in consideration of other vintage cards, that was very surprising to me. I think that this card probably deserves to be high, but it went really fast, was Dr. J's rookie card as well. That again was about a $2,500 card for years, and then moved up to $25,000 almost overnight. It was just very crazy to see.
And we saw it with others too. The Bill Russell. Yeah. We saw it with all the Mount Rushmore cards, and even the next 5 or 6 after that. We saw it with all of those, because all of a sudden, people who got into the hobby because of Luka and Zion and Patrick Mahomes, and then the trio of baseball superstars and a couple of hockey players, they started looking back and saying to themselves, hey, if I'm going to spend $5,000 on a Luka card, but yet I can get a Wilt Chamberlain for $5,000, shouldn't I buy a Wilt Chamberlain too, at least to hedge my bet a little bit from a financial perspective? Because, hey, he's an all-time great, and Luka's just getting started. Nothing against Luka at all. I'm just saying that I think a lot of people realize that, and the vintage caught up. And I remember when vintage started catching up. It was actually at the end of 2020. It was right in that September, October, November 2020. Vintage basketball started to catch up, and then in December, hockey kind of followed along. There were a couple of big sales. I remember that pretty clearly. Okay, we're going to just take some more questions here, Jeff. Mark Santucci does want to know if I'm going to have an after-hour show. I wasn't planning on it, Mark, but I guess if enough people want it, I could come back and just do a little Q&A sort of thing for sure. Toa says, printing in mass quantity has human error and technical manufacturing error. They're not going to stop the press, which costs time and money to get one card perfect. Yeah, bingo right there. Definitely makes sense to me. Jake says, did Jeff liquidate any big cards during the card boom?
Yes, I would say, but very selective. So what happened a lot is, in some of the sets, you might have cards in a high grade that would go up in price a lot more than you felt comfortable, or that didn't make sense. And so a lot of those I would let go and either wait till I thought it was at a more reasonable price, or I would just take the grade down and downgrade. And then I would use that and apply that to other cards I was interested in. So that's, now that I mention it, that is another way that, I was able to kind of gain additional funds and kind of use that as like a market timing thing to, to help gain and move up with your cards.
Well said. Thank you for that.